Alright, Shalom, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rahwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well in Shalom to you arguing that you're pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and with sincerity. As always, I start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that look like the other nations because Israel has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities, so therefore we're going to look like all people. But if your seed line by your father goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like. Now, I want to just do a quick lesson on this news story about this UK grime artist called Wiley, and how he's basically been dropped from his management company and blocked from Twitter for what Esau would claim are anti-Semitic tweets, when in reality they weren't anti-Semitic at all, because there are many nations that come from the man named Shem, not just the so-called white people, which are Edomites. You know, Moab comes from Shem, which is the so-called Chinese. Ammon comes from Shem, which is so-called Japanese. Elam comes from Shem, which is the so-called East Indians. The so-called Negroes, which is the so-called black people, come from Shem, which we are the descendants of Israel, which is Jacob. So there are many nations that come from Shem. However, these Jewish people often claim the whole lineage of Shem for themselves, and that anyone who speaks against them is an anti-Semite. Now, there's no such thing as a Semite in the Bible because it's Shem, S-H-E-M, not S-E-M, which is very interesting. Now, I'm just going to play a bit of this news article, and I'm going to bring out a few scriptures just to show you the hypocrisy of the Edomites, which is the so-called white people, the descendants of Esau in the Bible. So let me just play a bit of this clip.
Listen to me, Jewish community. Israel is not your country. I'm sorry. Can't quite figure out that last one. Well, joining us...
He says he can't quite figure out that last one because he knows damn well the truth, but he ain't going to say it. He's just trying to douse the flames and suppress this. But let's play it again.
To understand. Listen to me, Jewish community. Israel is not your country. I'm sorry. Can't quite figure out that last one. Well, joining us now, maybe to help us figure it out, is our UK correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti from London. And Jonathan, give us some background about who this rap artist Wiley is and why he might be making these kind of comments.
Well, today, British Home Secretary Priti Patel commented on the torrent of abuse that was published on Twitter and Instagram by Richard Cowie, a British rapper and songwriter known by a stage name Wiley. And she wrote that the anti-Semitic posts from Wiley are abhorrent. They should not have been able to remain on Twitter and Instagram for so long. And she wrote, I've asked them for a full explanation. Social media companies must act fast to remove such appalling hatred from their platforms. Among the things that he wrote, as you said there, were suggestions that black people and Jews should be at war. He said, black people, this is a war, sadly, sorry. He declared that his statements against Jewish people are not anti-Semitic, but he's just anti what he called slippery people. And he likened Jewish people to the Ku Klux Klan, saying rednecks are the KKK and Jewish people are the law. Work that out. A lot of it was a bit unhinged and quite hard to figure out, but it alluded to also theories of Israel not belonging to the Jewish people, but instead to a lost tribe of black people from Africa. And again, plenty of other typical anti-Semitic tropes.
Did you hear that? You see, these are the so-called slippery people. They know the truth, man. Come on, man. Stop playing stupid. They just said it right there. Let me just play it again.
and saying rednecks are the KKK and Jewish people are the law. Work that out. A lot of it was a bit unhinged and quite hard to figure out, but it alluded to also theories of Israel not belonging to the Jewish people, but instead to a lost tribe of black people from Africa. And again, plenty of other typical anti-Semitic tropes, including comments about diamonds and gold and money. It all seems to have stemmed from an argument he might have had with his former manager now, who's dropped him after this incident, who is a Jewish man himself. But it's certainly unclear as to whether that was the cause or whether he's just taking some of this out as well on the Jewish religion and ethnicity of his former manager. Either way, it's caused an awful lot of upset, not least because he's a high-profile figure with 500,000 followers on these platforms, but because it took so long for Instagram and for Twitter to actually block his account while it was spewing out this sort of abuse for hours on end. It went on well over 24 hours, possibly even as much as 48 hours. And as soon as he was kicked off Twitter temporarily, he moved on to Instagram and started making videos abusing Jewish people. There are calls now as well for his MBE to be removed. That's an honour that can be granted to British people who achieve highly in their field, and it's given by the Queen. There's a forfeiture committee with lots of people writing to them asking for his to be forfeited because he has brought into disrepute the British honours system.
Well, I want you say lots of people. What kind of reaction has there been? You mentioned the official reaction, but there, for example, in the entertainment or the arts industry, to this kind of outburst?
Well, I think it's pretty fair to say that most people have spoken out, who have spoken out about this, have spoken out against what he's saying. It's not nuanced or sophisticated analysis about geopolitics involving Israel, for example, nor could it even pretend to be. It is really the sort of ramblings and spewings of somebody who doesn't really make a very clear point themselves, except that they are deeply anti-Semitic. And so there's little doubt there that that seems to be motivating it. But what's alarming about this, of course, is, as usual in these sorts of incidences, there are plenty of people speaking out in support of him. And I think that's one of the things that's troubling people in general about the sort of anti-Semitic abuse that takes place online on these social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram. Because when somebody with a high-profile following, somebody who's a role model like this, starts to make these anti-Semitic comments in a very racially charged moment, there are others who will join them, making life difficult for Jewish users too.
Certainly there are, and he seems to have joined perhaps or following some of those celebrities that I mentioned, unfortunately, in the United States. Jonathan Sacerdoti there in London, thank you for that.
So, these people, man, they're clowns. Let's check the comments, yeah? Now, this is funny because you got 42 likes, 32 dislikes. Let's see what people on the comment board say. Babbling rubbish. He may say what he wants. An intelligent individual has no time for his ramblings. Okay. The media isn't controlled by people with Zionist sympathies. Anti-Semitic yourself. Yeah, that's the truth. Lines out of the bag, huh? First off, how can it be anti-Semitic if the so-called black people is the real Jews? Wake up and stop telling lies to the people. He's right though. Semite 1. Relating or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, certain ancient languages such as Phoenician, Akkadian, consist in the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. Relating to people who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic. There you go, look at the bottom. The real Jews come from Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Straight up truth right there. Guy throwing 666 on the thumbnail, wake up. Yeah, I saw that too. I'll get into that in a minute. Why does he do the 666 hand sign so often? If it's not true, why such an uproar? People don't pay attention to things that have no meaning. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham and Japheth. The so-called black people come from Shem, so how can he be anti-Semitic? You can't hide the truth forever. Much love to you, Wiley. The awakening is starting. The black people are beginning to know who they are, the real Israelites. There you go. These people are waking up, man. This word's getting out. Big up, King, man. You done know. Well, this is the truth. Let me get the truth right here. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let me get Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before their feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast that which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Now, here's the interesting thing. Esau's slipping up, man, by making these, there you go, there's this character Wiley throwing up the 3-6 hand sign. You can see that clearly on the screen there, showing that he's already sold out to this industry. He's been in it for over 10 years or so, whatever they say. I don't really follow or listen to him, but obviously he's heard the truth. He's obviously stumbled across the men of GMS, and this word has got out, which is the whole point. Esau can't hide this truth for much longer, and by him, publicly trying to fire these celebrities who are speaking out and speaking the truth, he's only bringing more attention to the truth. The scriptures say you can do nothing against the truth but for the truth. Let me get that. Alright, I believe this is 2 Corinthians 13 and 8 I'm going to be looking for here. It says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So, Esau can't do anything to prevent this truth. It's spreading like, it's spreading all across the earth. And when he tries to publicly shame these people for speaking out, Esau's only bringing more attention to the fact that this is the truth, because people who haven't heard about, anti-Semitism, or that the real Jews are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians and West Africans, predominantly, they're going to hear this. And then it's going to pique their curiosity. You're going to think, what's this all about then? Why is he being fired? And when they look into it, they're likely to stumble across the truth via all of the information, videos, and epistles that have been put up by the men of the Lord, the hopeful elect. So Esau can't hide this truth, man. It's too long. Esau would have been much wiser to just, ignore it. But if he did ignore it, it still exposes him. So it's like Esau's losing no matter what he does, and that's showing that the Most High is in control of this situation, because the Most High is basically systematically tearing down Esau's kingdom. Every day it's a new blow to Esau's stronghold, and this represents the pulling down of strongholds. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 11, I believe. Yeah, so let me get this. I'm going to start from Ephesians 6 and 10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. That's funny because that character's name's Wiley, and I'm saying Wiles are the devils. Interesting. But it goes on, it says, "For you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armour of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you should be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High, pulling down of strongholds." So that was a good precept, but not exactly what I was looking for. Let me see if I can find it. So I couldn't find it. But nonetheless, I've made the point. Let me jump back to it originally again. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, it says, "I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." Revelation 3 and 9, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." So yeah, that's the point. Just more truth coming out day by day. Esau's strongholds are falling. So with that, I'm going to close this lesson out, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Chachodash, double honors to those elders and apostles, a great millstone that will roll, and shalom to you, Archean pushing sword. So yeah, until the next video, I say shalom and abad babal.